We are at Aqua Huna here in Renton, Washington. Welcome to the cut. We're gonna redo that.
And I think that's actually a testament to his prices on aquahuna.com.
Yeah.
Are super competitive.
And we actually just got a tour of their new facility here, but we're gonna walk around, talk a little bit about it. Okay, Randy and myself, we are at Aqua Huna in Renton, Washington. We've got Lizzie behind the counter. 3, 2.
Can we have a blooper section?
This should be a blooper section.
Welcome to the fish wholesale tour of Aqua Huna. We're in Renton, Washington, where Aqua Huna is located. This is their new wholesale facility. Randy's with us. We've got me. We've got Lizzie behind the camera. And we actually just got a tour of their new facility here, but we're gonna walk around, talk a little bit about it. Now, it is a little bit loud, so we're gonna try to speak up. They did turn down some of the blowers a little bit, but you know, it's a wholesale operation, so there's a lot of stuff going on. But Randy, I know you've been to Aqua Huna before at the old location.
Yep.
So now we're gonna check out the new stuff. So yeah, let's walk around and check it out.
Yep, awesome. I feel like a couple first things to point out that are super cool, and one is that Jerry, the owner of Aqua Huna, it's basically like a hobbyist got into the business and is doing a really good job, but has still brought a lot of like DIY fish room ingenuity into an actual commercial operation. And so one of the first things to point out would be the filtration central sump system. So each of the aluminum racks has this gigantic tube sump system, and what he's doing here is just all custom, you know, it doesn't look overly fancy, but it's super effective of a wet-dry filtration system where the water's coming, the overflow water is coming through here, it's trickling down the metalamat, and Jerry says, like, from a biological filtration standpoint, is just super effective for this kind of application. It's just all DIY, like we're not seeing any name brand products off the shelf. Super cool, very, very healthy fish. I mean, we've got gutter system from Home Depot here helping to channel water. Like, it's just all scrappy. It's so cool. UV sterilizer, so you know, obviously that's going to be an off-the-shelf commercial product. Pumps, but filtration wise. And another thing too that I want to point out is he did this in the old location, and I wasn't sure if he was going to do it in this new location, but he's running the same style aluminum channel racks with, look at the gap. Look at the gap that aquarium is hanging off of that rack. Like, I feel like that would, if you try to post that on a forum, it would blow people's minds. They would yell at you and say that you cannot hang an acrylic tank off of a rack like that. And it, honestly, it doesn't feel right. It feels like it's defying the laws of physics, and that shouldn't work. But Jerry has run tanks like this for years and years and years, and he doesn't have issues with the tanks bowing, breaking, losing their seam, or anything like that. And this one is, I mean, that one's going, that's a solid like 2 inches off the aluminum frame. Like, it's crazy. This one's a little bit more shallow, but you know, I'm not saying doing this at home, right? But I feel like, again, if you posted this in the YouTube comment, if you asked this question on a forum, people would just think that you're out of your mind and that this is not gonna work, but it does. It clearly works. It's so cool.
Very cool. The other cool thing that Jerry does here is he makes his own sponge filters. So here we see it's like a 2-inch PVC basically. He's cut a bunch of slots in there. Yeah, it's 2-inch PVC. He's got these rounded bottoms. The reason why he wants the bottoms rounded is in a wholesale application, it has to be easy to catch fish. So you have to make sure that you don't have fish hiding underneath the sponge filters. You have to be able to have employees get in there and catch the fish. And also, when you have so many fish packed into an aquarium that doesn't have substrate, you don't want anything to get caught underneath and squished. And so basically he's making his own sponge filters just using some PVC, which is pretty cool.
Cool fish to point out, silver arowanas. Sorry, but scaring him. Sorry. That's why I don't keep arowanas, a little jumpy. But something like this, right? Your reticulated hillstream loach, like these loaches that have basically the translucent bodies. I will never get tired of seeing this at a wholesaler or in a fish operation. Like, that's just cool, right? Yeah. Like, seeing their little hearts beating in there, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they've got a huge selection, all freshwater fish, so every kind of tetra, cichlids, oddball fish, plecos, bottom dwellers. There's just a lot of different things. Snails. As far as like the overall system, Jerry said that it's about 40,000 gallons of water. So Jerry just said that he miscalculated and we're actually over 50,000 gallons of water
Yeah,
here.
we
so-
double our water.
Right.
Here's
so,
Jerry, running away. He's camera shy.
So their entire system, all fresh water, about 40,000 gallons, so it's a lot. Got some awesome colored up neon tetras right here, tiger barbs, more neon. There's, I would say, hundreds of thousands of fish here.
But that is from the Asian grocery store. That's just kelp seaweed that you would buy for like a soup or something, a human food application. And that's what plecos are munching on. That's what bottom feeders here are munching on. And I think Jerry, again, is scrappy. I don't think we'll see it on this particular tour, but in his old location, he was feeding carrots to a mono shrimp. And that actually helped to like really color them up, that orange-red color. We're gonna see some snails eating some potatoes, like whether they're boiled or raw. Jerry actually kind of has the secret of sometimes he feeds raw, sometimes he feeds boiled. So there's a little bit of method to the madness there. But just scrappy solutions to run a wholesale operation to keep margin down, right? Or to keep margin up, rather, to keep costs down. And doing something like that is just really cool. Versus if he was feeding out name brand, you know, algae pellets all day long, you know, Aqua Huna prices are probably way more expensive than they are. So, and I think that's actually a testament to his prices on aquahuna.com are super competitive. And I think when you see these kinds of moves, that's why he's able to offer good quality fish, great quality fish at those competitive prices, because he's doing, this is a commercial now. This is an infomercial for Jerry. Right. This is supposed to be like a cool fish tour. Kimchi, give your fish and shrimp probiotics. You know, you'd go broke feeding out high-end spirulina wafers all day long, you know? It's great when you got 1 or 2 tanks, right? By all means, buy our stuff, buy our wafers. But, you know, when you're running 40,000 gallons of water and hundreds of tanks and tens of thousands of livestock, you know, you can't do that.
So something else that I want to point out is this betta rack. Now you've seen these betta racks before. We actually have something very similar at our retail store, but something that we don't have that's amazing, and I've never seen this before, and they actually built this, they 3D printed it, they actually wrote the software, is they have this camera system, and these cameras go back and forth along this slider with these 3D printed motors and everything. And there's 4 cameras that are live streaming. So someone that's wanting to order a fish can actually see the specific betta that they want, and that they can actually order it online from a drop-down menu by saying that they want the betta that's in, you know, box number 45 as an example. So a really cool system. When I first walked in, I'm like, what is this thing with these photo lights and all this stuff? And turn around, and it's a very, very cool betta rack.
So this is their order fulfillment station, and again, I saw this at their previous location, and it was a bit cramped, and now it's awesome to see that they've got way more real estate. And as somebody that, you know, runs a warehouse, runs an operation, having space, having some elbow room for your employees, very important. Super well organized. They've got their, I don't know what that is there. That's an order list there. But it looks like what they do is they'll grab a bucket, and depending on what they need to pick, they'll get a clean net, and they go to the respective tank that they need to go to, and they catch the fish out, bring them back to the packing station, and let's see if they actually have like a live one.
Over there.
So we'll try to stay out of the way, but here we've got some longfin super reds, it looks like, in this one. And this, I think the way they're packaging it, this one looks more like a wholesale order. I think with the hog nose, I don't know if actually for Aqua Huna, if they ship direct to customer with the hog nose. Yeah, so I think this is a wholesale, but this is the giant beastly hog nose. Don't stick your finger in there and activate this thing, but that's where you get that nice solid clamp on the bags. So it looks like, yeah, they're doing some wholesale orders today. And then here we go. So this is gonna go to one of, the G&H is the wholesale side of the business for them. Aqua Huna is gonna be that direct-to-consumer side. So a wholesale order, yeah. So pretty cool. Oh, actually I see it. It's one of our RPP stores. I'm not gonna show the address, but this is gonna go to one of our retail partner stores in the Midwest. Awesome. That's really cool. So yeah, I'll have to email them and say, hey, I saw your fish shipment. And that's actually, I don't know, I'm talking too much about it, but they're one of our, they're doing a really, really good job. Just crushing it in the Midwest, this retail partner store. And if you didn't know, you can get Aquarium Co-op products at retail stores. You can go to our website. Maybe we'll put a link somewhere here to find the closest retail partner store. If your favorite fish store is not selling our product yet, go talk to the owner, talk to the buyer, talk to the purchasing manager, and say, hey, you can carry Easy Green, you can carry root tabs, get them on your shelf, go be the word of mouth.
Is that a new t-shirt?
This is a one-off custom from our friends at AKT in Orlando, Florida. Best customer service on the planner.
How cool is it to see, like, I don't know, 500 assassin snails in these tanks right here? So
I've never seen that many.
We got assassin snails. We've got some featherfin rainbows right here. I love African cichlids. Some African cichlids down here.
I like this tank. You got a lot of white clouds, and you've got some schooling clown loaches in the back, kind of doing their thing. So that's a fun tank.
All right, so now we're in the next room. So this room over here is like the tropical fish where we were sweating. This one's kind of medium temperature. He said they try to keep it like in the mid 70s. There's shrimp in here. And what they also have is this swimming pool that actually is their water change system. So here, I don't know how many gallons this pool is, but what they do is they fill it with fresh water and they let it gas off. So it sits here for a few days. All the chlorine, because they use chlorine in this area, the chlorine gases off, and then that way they don't have to use the chlorinator in their system. And basically they take the fresh water from here, then pumps into their sump system that you saw in the other room, and then they just continue to replenish this pool and let it gas off. Here they have all their shrimp. So these are all Caridina, Neocaridina, and others. So Amanos, filter feeders, all the different types of shrimp.
There's cherry shrimp all along this giant tote. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of cherry shrimp in here. It's so cool. And this is something that's probably not going to show up well on camera, but you've got a ton of cherry shrimp in here. Zenzo got 6, so his catch rate isn't the best, but that's all right. But I mean, these are all filled with thousands and thousands of shrimp, and it's one of those, like, you really have to be here to see it. I'm enjoying it.
This might be a fish. I don't like glowfish personally.
Oh yeah, I know.
But I might do these. They're amazing.
Yeah, I've never seen. They don't look like glowfish though.
So he's also running. He's got some big industrial blowers, but he also has quite a few Nido Koki Mido blowers. This is the big brother to the linear piston air pump that we sell. These things are bulletproof, they're solid, and it's such like a validation, not that we needed validation, but the fact that he's running them in his wholesale operation. We run the LA 45C as our model, but the little brother to this guy, if you have anything more than what, 7, 8, 9 tanks?
Yeah, I would say like a dozen or more.
Yeah, linear piston air pump. So if you got a lot of tanks and each one's on its own air pump, or you're running a generic diaphragm, step up to the big leagues and get this thing bulletproof and commercial.
Cut.
Last room.
All right, so this is the next room. This is their cool water or cold water area. So this room, there's no heat, there's no heater in here. Basically, they just let it get cool, like ambient temperature. And here they have all their goldfish. They're going to expand and have a koi section and bring in a bunch of koi that they will be selling.
More fancy goldfish.
More fancy goldfish.
So again, DIY, right? Matala in a bucket. We've got water dumping into it for the wet dry. This one, I love seeing this notched out tubing with the Matala. You've got the water pouring down. I want to see rock on the outside, and I want it to look like a waterfall, because I think that would just be amazing. But again, this is a wholesaler, so, you know. But I feel like if you pulled that off in your fresh room at home and had it kind of trickling back on some water or some rock to look like a waterfall, that'd be pretty awesome.
So just something that's a little bit geeky that I wanted to point out is this insulation. I don't know if, Matt, maybe you can dig up some B-roll of my old fish room before Corey and Dean came down and remodeled it. But this is essentially the same type of insulation that I use in my fish room, and they've lined their basically concrete block walls to help with insulation. So I just thought it was pretty cool that I wasn't the only one using this kind of stuff in the fish room.
Yeah, so I think kind of a cool takeaway from this video, and at least my time here at Aqua Huna / G&H, is just investment in the future, investment in the hobby. So you see, you know, and again, in a time where people are like, oh, is the aquarium hobby going away? Oh, there's not as many places where I can buy fish. You know, we are seeing a lot of new fish stores open across the country. That's super awesome. You've got places, you've got owners like Jerry that are investing in their business. They moved from a 10,000 square foot location to a 20,000 square foot location now. And he's got his eyes on the future. He's got his eyes on his wholesale business. He has his eyes on Aqua Huna. They're gonna have more capacity to carry more of the bread and butter awesome fish, but also more capacity to bring on other species, other oddballs of, you know, in talking with him, ranchus. I love ranchus. I feel like there's not a good enough selection of buying ranchus online right now. I love that goldfish. And like we've seen, expansion for picking and packing orders. So I think as a hobbyist, not even business, like just as a hobbyist, I think this is a really good time. And I think it's a really positive, optimistic thing to see Jerry at Aqua Huna and also a bunch of other online retailers that have really stepped up their game to provide consumers with good quality fish. Because if we lose people selling fish, the hobby's gonna go away. Like, you can't buy your fish on Amazon, you can't buy your fish, you know, Walmart, you can't buy them there anymore, right? Not that you always wanted to, but I think it's really good to see a quality operation. And if, you know what, Jerry's just like us, if the order doesn't go well, he will take care of you, he will make it right, and that is why we partnered with him, because he has a similar vision that we do in terms of customer service and helping to grow the hobby. Because Jerry is a hobbyist. Like, he's a total hobbyist, he's a total DIY nerd, and I think that's why we get along so well with him. So, yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this video. To watch another one just like it, click here.